In the snowy plains and frozen forests of the north, hunts often begin silently, only to quickly escalate into ferocious attacks. Predators use the terrain, the weather, and patience to their advantage, stalking their prey. In this hostile environment, every encounter is a test of survival, where a single moment of carelessness can completely alter the outcome. In the long, cold, snowy landscape, the caribou herd moves slowly and maintains close formation. Caribou have a strong survival instinct and can sense danger from afar through scent, sound, and movement. Their strong legs allow them to maintain a long run, but the deep snow begins to disrupt the formation behind them. Wolf silently observes from a safe distance, constantly studying the caribou herd's movements. Wolf doesn't rush to approach, but observes the footprints, the rhythm of movement, and individuals that begin to slow down on the rough snow. As the distance narrows, the caribou herd also begins to lose its advantage in maintaining formation. One caribou is separated from the herd and tries to speed up to rejoin the group, but the deep snow slows its pace. Wolf pursues from multiple directions, continuously closing the gap and forcing the caribou to change direction in the vast snowy area. The confrontation ended when the caribou lost its advantage from the herd, while the wolf regained control of the direction of movement thanks to its sustained coordination. In the cold forests and vast mountains of North America, the elk herd moves slowly through the snow to find less wind. Elks are highly sensitive and can detect danger from afar thanks to their well-developed sense of smell and hearing. Their large bodies and strong legs help them maintain a steady pace, but the deep snow begins to slow the rear of the group. Wolf silently follows from a safe distance, constantly observing the elk herd's movement through the snow tracks. Wolf doesn't go straight into the middle of the herd, but constantly changes angles to find individuals starting to lose their rhythm on the heavy snow. As the distance narrows in the cold forest, an elk at the back also begins to drift away from the front. The elk tries to regain its balance to rejoin the herd, but even a slight delay widens the gap. Wolf approaches from multiple directions and constantly attacks from the flanks to disrupt the elk's movement on the deep snow. The match ended with elk losing their advantage in terms of formation, while Wolf maintained their lead thanks to their excellent teamwork and accurate terrain reading. In the cold forests of Alaska and Canada, grizzly bears move slowly in search of food amidst harsh weather. Grizzly bears are highly sensitive to any movement near their food source and react quickly to the appearance of other animals. Their strong jaws, large muscles, and thick fur give them an advantage in the cold. But on the edge of the snow-covered forest, a wolf has begun to appear near a carcass. From the edge of the snow-covered forest, the wolf silently approaches the carcass, constantly observing the grizzly bear's reaction. The wolf doesn't approach directly, but moves in a wide circle, closing in, and then quickly retreating to find an opportunity to claim the food. As the distance narrows around the carcass, the grizzly bear also continuously turns to maintain its position of control. The grizzly bear held onto its prey with its body strength, refusing to leave the area where it stood amidst the cold snow. The wolf continued to charge from multiple directions, widening the distance and forcing the grizzly bear to constantly change direction. The confrontation ended when the wolf pulled away from the dangerous distance, while the grizzly bear continued to hold on to its prey thanks to its stable defense. In dense, narrow jungle terrain, wild boars constantly change direction to maintain distance from danger ahead. Wild boars react quickly when approached and always turn their heads directly to use their fangs to control the area near their bodies. These short but powerful turns give wild boars an advantage at close range. While wild boars maintain their movement, the pack of wolves begins to form a formation and approach from multiple directions. One wolf moves forward to draw attention, while others continuously approach from the flanks and rear. As wild boars are forced to constantly change direction, the pack of wolves continues to attack quickly and then retreat, gradually narrowing the space ahead. After many turns in narrow terrain, wild boars begin to slow down and can no longer maintain their initial reaction speed. The wolf pack continued to close the gap and maintained formation around the wild boar's movement area. As the wild boar's movement speed slowed significantly, the confrontation quickly ended with the wolf pack ultimately holding the advantage. In the cold, high mountains, mountain goats often move in small herds across steep cliffs and snow-covered slopes. Mountain goats are always vigilant for unusual movement around their foraging areas, while the adults constantly observe to protect the group. Their ability to cling to rocks and maintain balance allows mountain goats to control the terrain very well. From atop the rocky slope, the snow leopard silently follows, using the rugged terrain to conceal itself. The snow leopard quietly closes the gap as the mountain goat moves near the edge of a narrow rock. As the escape route ahead narrows, the snow leopard suddenly swoops down, forcing the mountain goat to sharply change direction on the slippery slope. The mountain goat tries to swerve to maintain distance, but the space ahead is dwindling. Snow leopard continued to relentlessly pursue the mountain slope, forcing mountain goat to constantly change direction in the dangerous area. As the cliff chase drew to a close, the advantage ultimately belonged to snow leopard. Along the cold rivers of the northern forests, salmon swim upstream to return to their birthplace and continue their breeding season. Salmon have excellent water memory, helping them find the same river again after a long time living in the ocean. Their good endurance allows them to overcome strong currents. Near shallow water, grizzly bears wait at the river's edge, observing the salmon's movements. They choose a narrow spot where the salmon must leap to overcome the current. While the salmon continuously leap, the grizzly bear suddenly leaps from the water's edge and uses its front paws to pounce directly on the direction the salmon has just leapt. The salmon try to continue swimming with the strong current, but the narrow area leaves it with few escape routes. Grizzly bear held its position in the shallow water and quickly took control of the salmon that had just been intercepted. The confrontation ended with the salmon becoming grizzly bear's prey, while the school of fish behind continued swimming through the cold water. On the edge of North American forests, deer often stops near open grass to search for food and observe its surroundings. Deers are highly alert and will react immediately to any unusual sounds or smells in the forest. Their strong legs help them maintain a steady pace. But once they leave the cover of trees, the escape route ahead begins to narrow. Behind fallen trees near the damp forest, grizzly bear moves slowly, keeping its body hidden in the shadows. Grizzly bear doesn't chase for long, but waits for deer to enter a sloping area where the slippery ground makes changing direction more difficult. When the distance is close enough in the narrow forest path, grizzly bear immediately lunges forward and crashes into deer's body. Deer tries to speed up to escape the sloping forest area, but the damp terrain causes its running rhythm to become unstable. Grizzly bear continued to close in from behind, not giving deer time to regain a safe distance. The confrontation ended with grizzly bear maintaining the advantage thanks to precise timing, while deer was unable to escape the narrow jungle area. In the cold forests of North America, moose typically move slowly across soft ground and wide swamps. They are highly alert to sounds, smells, and movement around their habitat. Their large bodies and long, strong legs give them a clear advantage. But when accompanied by their young, protective distance becomes even more crucial. Along the damp ground near the clearing, the grizzly bear silently observes and maintains a distance from the mother moose. The grizzly bear constantly changes its approach angle to find a gap between the mother moose and her offspring near the edge of the swamp. As the distance narrows, the grizzly bear lunges forward and forcefully strikes the mother moose's shoulder. The adult moose quickly turns to shield its offspring, but the soft ground slows its pace. The grizzly bear continued to approach from the flank, not giving moose time to create a safe distance. The confrontation ended when moose managed to keep the hatchling close behind, while the grizzly bear gradually retreated from the cold swamp area. After chases and attacks amidst the freezing snow and ice, each species reveals survival strategies honed over generations. Whether predator or prey, advantage is fleeting before the tide turns against them, fueled by terrain, stamina, and reflexes. In the harsh northern wilderness, the struggle for survival continues daily.
Fighting.
On the vast grasslands of Africa, every encounter with a lion can escalate into an attack in mere seconds. From close-range bursts of speed to intense territorial battles, safe distances are quickly reduced as pressure builds. And in these captured moments, the lion's survival instincts have resulted in some of the most ferocious attacks ever seen in the wild. Beneath the low foliage near the grassland, an adult leopard begins to leave its resting place after a long period of observing its surroundings. Leopards possess highly accurate ambush instincts and usually only attack when they are close enough to control their target. With strong shoulder and jaw muscles, this predator maintains a significant advantage in one-on-one confrontations. As the leopard moves into open ground, several lions begin to move slowly from different directions to close in. They don't charge immediately but continuously narrow the distance, while the leopard must constantly turn to counterattack with its claws and short bites. But each time it deals with one direction, the space in the other direction is further closed. After repeatedly retreating within the encirclement, the leopard begins to lose its ability to maintain a safe distance from the pride of lions, despite still trying to react and find a way out. The leopard is gradually overwhelmed by the larger numbers and the constant pressure from multiple sides. Ultimately, the leopard was forced to abandon the area it had just controlled to avoid further ground confrontation. In large-scale confrontations, individual reaction capabilities often diminish as the space for movement shrinks. Leopards have a significant advantage in reaction speed and close-range ambushes, but lions exert more effective pressure when working together as a group. And when escape routes are no longer wide enough, the advantage of control can shift rapidly on the ground. Along the territorial boundary between the vast grasslands, a mature male lion constantly moved around the area, checking for lingering scent trails on the ground. Lions have a very strong territorial instinct and often use roars and patrols to prevent other prides from encroaching further into their territory. But when strange scent trails began to appear deeper within their patrol area, tension between the two lions quickly escalated. Initially, they simply stood facing each other, roaring loudly to warn each other in the open space. But as the distance narrowed too quickly, the confrontation quickly turned into close-range, head-on lunges. They repeatedly pressed against each other's necks, using their body weight to pin each other to the ground, and neither wanted to back down. After many lunges and subsequent separations to create distance, signs of exhaustion began to appear more clearly in both lions. Despite continuing to apply pressure at close range, both eventually had to separate from the confrontation due to their rapidly declining stamina. In many territorial battles in the wild, the outcome sometimes doesn't come from the absolute strength of the opponent, but from the body no longer having enough energy to continue. After a long journey across the dry grasslands, the African wild dog pack began to slow down to maintain formation. They live in close-knit packs, always moving close together and reacting quickly to the pack's signals. As their pace slowed, small gaps began to appear behind the pack. From the nearby low grass, a lioness began to lower her body and silently approach the wild dog pack. When a young wild dog lagged behind, the lioness immediately accelerated over the short distance and lunged straight at her target. The pack turned around, and the bite occurred almost instantly. Immediately afterward, the remaining wild dogs quickly circled around, barking loudly to pressure the lioness. Some individuals feigned close approach and then quickly retreated to distract the young dog, a common behavior in their pack that demonstrates their ability to support their pack. However, the wild puppy was still unable to escape, as the lion had completely taken control at close range. Amidst the low-lying grassland near the dry land, an adult antelope constantly observes the surrounding movement as the herd moves through the open area. Antelopes react quickly to danger and often change direction frequently to maintain distance from predators. But as the herd begins to move deeper into the open area, gaps gradually appear behind the formation. Hidden beneath the low grass nearby, a lioness begins to lower her body and silently follow the antelope herd moving ahead. When an antelope suddenly runs away and constantly changes direction to widen the gap, the lioness maintains her pace behind instead of immediately accelerating. But after only a brief pause in changing direction, the lioness instantly accelerates at close range and quickly closes the gap. Just seconds later, the antelope no longer has enough space to maintain a safe distance ahead. Despite her efforts to keep going, Antelope was eventually cornered by the lion at close range and unable to escape. In high-speed chases, even a momentary slowdown can completely alter the outcome.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
Right at the edge of the murky water near the shallow mud flats, a large crocodile lay motionless for hours, maintaining control around its riverside prey. Crocodiles possess a very patient ambush instinct and usually only react when their target is close enough to the water's edge. With a bite force that can exceed 3,000 pounds per square inch in large individuals, this predator still creates immense pressure in the narrow space near the water's surface. As the crocodile turned its head in one defensive direction, the lions on the other side began to move closer on dry land. They didn't all charge at once, but constantly shifted positions to close the distance around the crocodile from multiple directions. The crocodile continuously opened its mouth, turned its head, and used its bite force to prevent the lions from getting any closer. But as the number of lions increased, the space for the crocodile to maneuver began to disappear. After repeatedly changing direction to react to pressure from all sides, the crocodile gradually lost its ability to maintain its position around the carcass. After being forced to close the distance several times, Crocodile was forced to slowly retreat to the water's edge as the lions completely occupied the surrounding land. In nature, crocodiles control the narrow space near the water's surface very effectively with their biting force and patient ambush abilities. But on open land, constant collective pressure from multiple directions can cause a large individual to gradually lose control of the area. And when the defensive space is no longer wide enough, the outcome of the confrontation changes very quickly. In the middle of a wide expanse of grassland near the shallow water's edge, a herd of buffaloes began to close in formation upon detecting unusual movement in the distance. Buffaloes possess a very strong herd defense instinct and often quickly gather into a dense formation to protect weaker individuals. With their heavy bodies, thick necks, and extremely strong shoulders, they generate a powerful charging force in close-range confrontations. But when one buffalo slowed down behind the group, many lions began to lower their bodies and quietly move around in different directions. Constantly pressured from behind, the buffalo plunged into the shallow water to try to widen the distance and create more safe space ahead. Even so, the lions did not give up, continuing to maintain their encirclement and waiting for the right moment to close in again. When the buffalo tried to leave the water to return to dry land, the entire pride of lions immediately accelerated and continued to press from multiple directions. After repeatedly changing direction to escape the constant pressure, buffalo gradually lost its ability to maintain a safe distance at close range. Despite attempting to react with short headbutts, buffalo was ultimately completely outmaneuvered by the lions on the open ground. In prolonged chases across the savanna, the predator's patience sometimes creates more pressure than the initial attack. Buffalo had a significant advantage in strength and close-range defense, but as the distance was constantly being squeezed from multiple directions, the chances of escape gradually diminished over time. On a dry patch of ground near the carcass in the middle of the grassland, a group of hyenas began to gather, constantly observing the surrounding movements. Hyenas are very quick to detect weaknesses and often maintain sustained pressure during prolonged chases. With their powerful bite and resilient bodies, they still hold a significant advantage in many food competitions on the savanna. But while the hyenas were still gathered around the carcass, several lions suddenly appeared from the nearby low grass. The entire pride quickly charged forward, relentlessly pushing ahead, causing the hyena formation to become disorganized on the open ground. As many fled in different directions, a young hyena lagging behind was gradually separated from the rest of the group. Immediately afterward, a male lion accelerated at close range and charged straight at the lagging individual. Lion quickly used his foot to pin the young hyena down, completely securing his position before it could escape the open space. Although the others continued to move around to observe, the young hyena was ultimately severely injured and unable to break free. In food competition on the savanna, smaller, slower individuals are often the first targets when pressure comes from multiple sides. Hyenas have a significant advantage in stamina and the ability to withstand impact in prolonged confrontations. But when formations become disorganized, safe spaces can disappear in just seconds. From high-speed chases to intense territorial battles, lions constantly adjust their strategies to the smallest movements on the vast savanna. It's not always the strongest individual who wins, but the one who better controls distance, pace, and timing. And if these natural moments offer value, keep watching to not miss the next authentic wildlife stories.